I'm making this video because it got terrorism coming out of Queen Anne's County, Maryland, um, through the Department of Homeland Security in Centerville, Maryland, and they're targeting lawyers. And there's a bunch of Jamaican royalty in the area, which really doesn't make any sense to me. So I make the videos because I don't know if anybody knows the proper procedure, line, course of action to hold them responsible and accountable for terrorism. Um, they're basically pumping their chest at me, asking me who's going to do something about the law, and I'm stating and showing federal offense felonies, multiple capital federal offense felonies, coinciding, revolving around huge amounts of money that were stolen, and and I'm like, it's to the point where I've had to write a letter to the Supreme Court, and I ain't kidding, because they're not stopping, and they're surrounding me at all times with homicide through these little military private investigation firms are like harassing me and threatening me and sending me death threats, and it's the escalation of the pattern of behavior, um, signifying murder over money. And I'm a millionaire, so I expect to be left alone. And they're attacking me, and they're being violent about it. They're making demands, and they've been sending threats online and in person to blow things up if they can't get their way. I'm not saying it. I take the words I speak serious. They did it, threatening to blow things up if they can't get their way, and that's terrorism. They're watching movies, they're like cutting women's heads off and things like that. And I say I'm not joking about terrorism. I'm serious. So it came through Centerville, Maryland, through the Queen Anne's County Police. And at first they tried to incriminate and frame me for robbing a gas station when they did it. And then I told them no, and they did it anyway. Same thing every time. I tell them no. My screensaver came on. I tell them no, and they do it anyway. And second time they try to play their drugs off on me, and then they try to frame me for making explosive in Denver. Then I called the police to get something to happen, and they gassed me for 1,000 hours and try to say I was crazy when I'm not. So it's coming there, and they're doing it as in the eyes of the state, and that's illegal. But that they can only see it through the eyes of the state when they know that's not true. So trying to think, I'm just beware and be warned. They're switching people out, their identities over money, and it's coming through the state police, and they're trying to pirate and commandeer my accounts, my checking account, my hotel's account, all my accounts, and they're trying to take it and say that's theirs. They're trying to identify over top the production of the economy and tell me that they can't produce this for me, but it's in my possession, mine legally. It's locked in. There's nothing you can do to break judges' lines. So they're sending me all these threats saying that they're going to put me in a fire chamber and that they killed my family, and showing me videos of murdering my little brother. And it's terrorism. Sending me saying they've been stalking me for years. They're smearing their blood on my stuff and like beating my stuff up and cutting my stuff off. They cut the sleeve off my shirt, smeared blood off my dress shirt, smeared their blood on it. They're threatening me. They've been trying to target and steal everything I own. Like stole my wallet while I was in Hawaii twice. Stole my wallet in California. And I was traveling, so I don't really know anybody. So, but I did. I went down to the program, and the only thing there was a loaf of bread on the table. And even that ran out. There's like 1,000 homeless people. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I did what I had to do to get through it, and I'm here now. But point is that why is terrorism not being charged? You know, and I said I really have multiple reasons to believe that you all were involved in 9/11, and they said nice, as a response. I said there's multiple reasons to believe that you all were involved in the act of terrorism, and they responded and said nice. No, it's not nice. So I don't know what else to do other than keep making videos and putting them online. But these are by American medical definition, these are violent extremists who are trying to kill me the most brutal, ruthless, painful, evil way possible for no reason at all. I didn't do anything to them. I didn't say anything to them. They're violent extremists, and they're claiming it and tagging it. The actions that they've taken, they've been targeting lawyers and lawyers' families for money, trying to switch them out. And some of these people were banned from America in the 1980s and are living in Queen Anne's County, Maryland. Seriously, it's serious. So, I'm trying to think what else I can say in the video. My name is Aaron Patrick Thompson. I'm from Queenstown, Maryland. I was born November 5th, 1987, Silver Spring, Maryland. My father was a lawyer, and this is violent extremism. It's coming through the Homeland Security Department in Centerville, Maryland. They're demanding that I submit to their control to kill, and I'm telling you no. So I'm sending it out to everybody I can get involved, every police station, every police department, every courthouse in the nation. I want to know that these police officers were caught red-handed in an act of internal terrorism. And because of the social outrage and the image and everything, to make themselves look violent, they're trying to cover it up. And I'm not letting you cover that up, because you hurt a lot of innocent people. Sending me threats, telling me that they're going to put me in the oven with the disabled, and that it's the escalation over the course of a lifetime that started with simple theft, them robbing the house for jewelry and doing things like that, escalated into destruction of property, arson, manslaughter, murder, and mayhem. But what it started as was just petty. It was just little things. But as it escalated over the course of a lifetime, it turned into homicide, manslaughter, terrorism, and all these other serious things. So the evidence is there whenever enough investigators get the time to push it. But the problem is that certain high-powered people and figures were involved, so they're trying to cover it up from the top down. So. Where is the money? Whose account is it in? I don't know, but I think it went to the top. If anybody wants to check, so I have some of the money, but I'm trying to get the rest of it back. But these people came together in a small area, in a small town, less than 5,000 people, through the police department to come together to kill by using the government as an outpost to allow people to get away from crime by blaming it on groups that they're actually in control of. But it happened in a small area, in a small town, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a full control manipulation and a reason. They want to be able to create the reason why they struck. It's a highly advanced manipulation. It's illegal, and so I'm putting it in the sky cams because the federal government's trying to cover it up, and they're saying not over me, but over who then? This situation is ridiculous and it's out of control. They're credibly threatening. They're credibly trying to threaten and corner my life with homicide. It's telling me that they're putting my teeth in their mouth, and I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. So, and it's very common in terrorism. So, what else am I going to say during this video? I got to think what else I'm going to say during this video. I just look around how many people there are. I think this is ridiculous. It's out of control. They're creating these high magnitude problems, and you're from just this little ass town in the middle of nowhere, and you can't do that. They're taking hostages. They're asking me if I'm gonna, whether they did or didn't take the hostages. I'm not sure whether it's a hoax or not, but they lead me to believe that they did, and they're trying to get me to pay my money out of my millions for the hostages that they've said that they've taken. And I'm not paying it. I just keep sending it to the police and sending it to the police and sending it to the police. So it is terrorism. It was Gary Hoffman. There's other people involved too, and they intend to try and create the death penalty. You can't do that. And so they've been using hallucinogens. They put me in a gas chamber. My brain finally leveled out, and like my brain's fine now. But that gas took 3 years to wear off. They gassed me for 1,000 hours and let me go hallucinating, and my brain polars were flipping up and down. Like the polars in my head go from like extreme good to extreme bad. It finally stopped, but it'll make any human being on this world snap. It just does. It's just what the gas does, and it's illegal. So they just stand there and say and pump their chest and say, who's going to do something about the law of a federal felony for a group of federal felonies? Who's going to do something about? Who's going to do something about a group? I hate that. who's going to do something about a group of federal felonies, of federal felons, or somebody. So I contacted the Supreme Court and sent it into the White House because I'm done. I'm absolutely done with this. From the top down, there is going to be accountability for terrorism. And they're trying to put me in a real life torture chamber and ruthlessly, brutally murder and torture me the most painful, meanest way possible for having done nothing illegal or said nothing to them at all. And I'm telling you that I know that people aren't going to accept this. So get every courthouse, every police officer, every military agent, every Peace Corps, every person in the world needs to be aware that the Queen Anne's County Police were caught red-handed in the act of internal terrorism, and the evidence is there. And they tried to cover it up for them. I'm not letting you. So I'll try and help me out, get it filed in as many courthouses as possible with as many people as possible, because they're basically saying that they don't want to round up and execute a whole county police group, but they committed terrorism. So I'm not accepting that as an answer. There's not too many terrorists and too many killers to do something about. So I want them arrested. I guess that's the end of the video for now. I'm putting it online because I have no choice, because the court system's not operating when I file case numbers. So in that sense, I have no choice but to have to put it as video on the internet to explain what happened, which is that terrorists are attacking me over my money. And trying to stabilize that in some way, some form. So if any lawyers want to pick it up, I actually am trying to recover the money that was stolen. Some of it is missing still, more than half of it. But I am in possession of more than $1 million. I am rich. But I had to say it because it's the truth. I have to speak the truth when it comes out. I never told anybody in my life till I had to. And now the truth comes out. I have to explain what's going on and why it's happening. It's that I'm a millionaire. And they're trying to kill me over the money. And there's still some of it is missing. So whenever anybody wants to help me restore system, order, and the law, I have to get these people arrested for terrorism. It's serious. And try to frame me for making explosion in 2016 in Denver, and then overwhelmed and disconnected and controlled the court system numbers that are supposed to hold the system in place. So it's because they can't get their way. It's just violent. So I guess that's it for the end of the video, but that's explaining what's going on and why it's happening. I'm gonna put the video on the internet, so that's in hopes that somebody in this world will be able to restore diplomatic, systematic law and order, which they're openly, publicly stating that they can't be held accountable for terrorism.